What's going on, guys? J-Funk here once again. Today we're taking a look at the last four bosses in the raid that we tested today, starting with Forgeweaver Araz. This is the fourth boss in the raid, and on Mythic it has changed a decent bit. So you're gonna see here the main change is that the ball adds from Heroic are immune to damage and they move faster unless they move through a void tear. Now the void tear you see there spawned, they spawn in like a triangle formation. It can spawn here at the beginning of the room, it can spawn on circle, or and there's a star marker behind me on the left. And you need to spawn the circles behind us so they enter through it, and then it removes their immunity. Then they are fully CCable, much like Heroic, and then you just kill them. But this requires you to kind of notice that and be able to adapt on the fly. The echo is pretty much the same. You just gotta kill this first one before the next one happens. That is pretty much the biggest change in this phase, at least from what I noticed. These circles are a little bit hard to see, and if you get hit by one, it is like 11 million damage. You can't be getting hit by that. So here it spawned here again. So you need to make sure that if you have your targeted by the ball mechanic, you drag it behind this. Later in the fight, he'll do these in sequence. So he'll spawn a void tear, then debuff people, and then that void tear, then he'll spawn another void tear, and then you have to go to that one, and then it's just constantly killing ads. So you see here, I get spawned with the ad, and then the void tear spawns over on this part of the thing, and you have to drag it over here. Ring of Peace was really good for this. Ring of Peace, Legacy Sweep. Monk honestly seemed pretty good on this fight. Damage wise, it's like okay, but mainly just like being able to control as much as they can is really nice. I want to skip ahead to phase 2 though. So let's see here. Phase 2 is the same. He knocks you back, and then the three pillars, the 3 pylons are in the corners of the room, are the same, and they can be killable. The trick here, the change here, is that they all need to die at the same time. If you don't kill them at exactly the same time, or pretty much the same time, they explode and do a ton of damage and wipe the raid. So you need to split the groups up, and what we did is we had group 1 hit Skull, group 2 hit X, and then group 3 hit Square, and we want to do even DPS and kill these at the exact same time. Once you kill these at the exact same time, it's the same. The phase is otherwise the same. You just have to kill these at the same time. There's still 2 ads. You got a tank swap. The boss is still going to walk here and do a little channel and then take a damage amp. That's the same. We do big damage here, and then it just rinse repeat from that. But then the next one, the last intermission I want to show here. Let's see if we can get to it. Make it through this next intermission. We do have some deaths here, unfortunately. Otherwise, we probably would have killed it because you don't have much time, like at all. I want to go back just to show you like how tight this is. So the square one dies, right? And the skull one dies, and the X one doesn't die. It takes like 2-3 seconds, and then the whole raid it's over. It's just done. But I survive because I use my defensive. So there's a damage amp here, and then after this damage amp is the next or the last phase. Last phase is pretty similar. He knocks you all back to the start of the room and then spawns this thing here. And it's just the constant suck. The suck on Mythic was significantly more intense, and it seemed to intensify way quicker. So you really want the boss to be super low on HP here. Also, you spawn ads, and the ads are kind of constantly spawning. They are fully CCable from what I could tell as well, as soon as they spawn. So you see, like, we get the first spawns, and the second ones happen almost immediately afterwards. They are able to be Ring of Peace, so ideally, I guess you'd want to, like, stack these up in the same place so that Ring of Peace would just take care of them. But from here on out, you just gotta kill the boss, or you wipe. And we ended up wiping here, but this is the end of the fight, and it's pretty cool. Moving on to the next boss. Alright, this is the... welcome back. This is the next boss. The Soul Hunter is the optional Demon Hunter boss. The main difference, there's a lot of differences on Mythic, mainly just so like everyone gets a new ability, and some abilities are enhanced, but we'll go through it one by one. What you're going to see here is that Alyssa Darksaw, the Fracture spawns 3 spirits instead of 2. You need to soak these. Each time you soak one, it gives you a dot. This is very similar to Heroic, except there's one more spirit. The Eye Beam now applies a debuff if you get hit by it, which does more and more damage. You need a tank swap more rapidly. The Void Step happens here, and what you're going to see here is the hunt. So the Vengeance Demon Hunter is going to cast Sigil of Chains where she's located. It's going to suck everyone in to that location in that boss, and then the Havoc Demon Hunter boss is already casting the hunt, and she's going to cast it twice. So she's going to target 2 people, and then we also had it happen 3 times, but it was kind of inconsistent. This happens 3 times, but it was inconsistent why it happened 3 times. Not really sure. And then the Void Demon Hunter boss has a teleports behind you and has this like telegraphed cone thing you need to move out of. But as you see there, this is the main changes in this part of the phase. It's pretty fast and pretty chaotic. You just want to make sure you don't soak more than once, because anyone that soaks in the line gets a debuff that makes them take 500% damage from soaking again. So you only have one person per line. Other than that, just make sure that you get these frailties. I did notice that the spirit bomb dot that happens if you don't soak the spirits seemed to be like almost nothing. Like it did seem like you didn't really want to soak it at all for the most part. But we're coming up on the first intermission. The intermission order is the same, but what changes here is that there's these chains you see. There's 3 people that are chained together. There's 1 central one and 2 ones that can spread out and fan out. And you need to do that in order to soak the collapsing stars. So the collapsing stars are the same as heroic. You get a dot if you soak these. You don't want to get more than 1. But then you're chained together. This chain happens on every single one of these intermissions. So here it's not that bad because you kind of just fan out from the middle person. But it is pretty annoying on the Fel, like the Blaze one, the Havoc one, and the Vengeance one is a lot of movement. So I'll move forward in the hole here. I do end up dying at some point, but I think we end up seeing the whole fight here. So this is the intermission for the Havoc Demon Hunter. So it's just the Blaze happens and you're chained together. So you make sure to move along your Blaze or not really move as much as you need to. And honestly, it didn't seem that bad at all. Whatsoever. You just kind of have to do this, and again, the bosses are fully damageable during this time. It's pretty straightforward. And then moving past this, go into the last intermission. Last intermission is the same as the Vengeance Demon Hunter guy. He leaps to a location, but now you're chained, and you need to not stand in the frontal cone. So this is just a lot of like Wind Rush, Stampeding Roar, just making sure that you're not in the frontal and just moving together as a raid. She's going to finish this channel here, and then she's going to leap. And then she's gonna do it again, and just keep doing that over and over again until the phase ends. It didn't seem all that punishing, but I could see this being tuned up and being pretty scary. Cinema moment here. Now, the enrage. One thing we didn't notice this on Heroic, the enrage of this fight is that all 3 Demon Hunters use meta at the same time, which makes it like impossible to do anything. So you see, you get this really screwed up combo here where you get the hunt plus the fracture soaks at the same time. Pretty much everything's happening at the same time, and then we survive this, and they're like, all right, we're all using meta now. I really like creative uses of enrages, and this is pretty sick. You get the collapsing star, the blazes, the frontal, all happening at the same time, and if you somehow manage to survive this, you're god gaming. Like, okay. But this is the enrage, and you're not supposed to survive this, I don't think. Anyway, that does it for this one. Moving on to the next boss. The next boss is Fractillus. So Fractillus is the Tetris boss. I'll admit that there are some pretty big differences, and I try to highlight them in my Melee PV as much as I can. Basically, there's a different type of wall that you have to pop. I think it's a 2x1 instead of a 1x1. And the tank mechanic spawns 3 walls instead of 1. But you also get more knockbacks to break the walls. You get 7 instead of 4, I believe it was. This fight seems like to me it'll be heavily trivialized by a weak aura. In fact, there's already a liquid weak aura that exists that will tell you what, if it's set up properly, to tell you what marker to move to once you get a certain mechanic. This is a fight where, like, if we were in a postmodern no weak aura world, it would be kind of tricky to do. But with this one, I think it's not that bad. At least as melee, it's just a per single target. I get really lucky on mechanics in this pull, and I get literally no mechanics for like 2 minutes, and I just get to sit in one lane and just hit the boss. But yeah, it's very similar. It's similar-ish to Heroic. There are way more walls, and as a result, you might have to make more decision-making, but again, that decision-making might be trivialized by weak auras. Overall, though, I think the concept of the fight is very fun and cool, and I think it should be somewhat fun on release, depending on what the weak aura situation again. But not much to say about this one. I do enjoy it. It just seems like you gotta just do the walls before you die, and that's pretty much it. The next fight is much more of a visual spectacle. All right, I don't have much to show of this one because we didn't actually make it. We made it to the intermission once, but if you want to see, there's a clip out there that shows the beams. The beams are a lot more different in Mythic. The beams, instead of placing the portals down by players, they're in set locations, and the beams have like a shape that they'll make constantly. It's like a dance kind of thing in the intermission. But we didn't make it there because phase 1 is crazy. Phase 1, this seems like much like a Mythic Tindril where you're kind of just spam wiping P1 a lot of the time. Alright, so the main change in Mythic on P1 that I noticed is that after he does his sequence of a tank, like the tank sequence, if you soaked, which you should have soaked, you will spawn a spirit based on the remaining stacks of the oath that you have. And you have to face the spirit in order to suck it into you so that you actually lose the stack. If you do this incorrectly, you regain the stack. Also, there's a lot of beams happening at the same time as you're doing this. It's pretty hard to do. But you'll see here, this is the last thing in the sequence. The spirit spawns from me. I have to turn, look at it, and soak it in. This is super hard. Also, we noticed that Nexus-King will start the besiege, the beams, wherever the closest dragon that he's closest to. So we try to move together and do that. But this fight is super hard in P1, and there's a lot going on. We end up wiping here in a second because it's a lot of just like, you need to dodge the beams while this is happening and also be paying attention. But yeah, it's pretty tough. I'm gonna try to find a clip here that is more appropriate to show the remaining stacks thing. Give me 1 second. All right, here's one of our better pulls. So we make it a little bit farther. Everyone has stacks. You need to remove all your oath stacks or you get MC'd at the very end of this phase. It's pretty tricky. It means you need to do every soak. And you can't do more than 1 soak because it makes you take 500% more damage. It is very crucial. This is towards the end of a wipe here, but see the combo ends right about now. And then 2 spirits will spawn. I have to face the direction of both. I think I only face the direction of 1. No, I get both. This is actually really good. It's kind of hard to see, but you can do that pretty easily. Then move these out, and then this is towards the we have about 1 more sequence. We tank combo before we wipe. The tank gets MC'd here, a human racial pure skill out of this, and then kill him so I can probably try to res him, but we have no res, so not really working out there. But we do make it to where the beams almost spawn. But yeah, this phase is crazy. I jump into a beam by accident because I don't see it going through the boss. My bad. Overall, though, phase 1 of this fight, pretty crazy. It seems like a way more interesting fight than heroic. I guess my feedback would be that the spirits should be a little bit bigger on the Mythic mechanic, so you can actually like see where this is. So you'll see like here are the 6 portal spawns, and I think these happen in a set order in terms of like where the beams are going to be pointed at, so you can dodge appropriately. But overall, this fight's pretty sick, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the phases of this fight and the end of this fight and see what that looks like. That's gonna do it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.